Today we are back in the Priest River area. So we're going to be talking about Priest River. We've had a lot of controversy, some great comments on our last Priest River video. We've had quite a few views coming in on the video, so we can see that there's a lot of interest in that area. But we wanted to talk a little more about Priest River. It's been brought to our attention, or my attention, that maybe I haven't significantly talked about some of the deeper issues there, and making sure people have all the information before deciding to move in that direction. So there's a lot of information out there. I've looked up, we're gonna take some information from the Priest River website, from niche.com, and some other sources. We're gonna talk through some of these different subjects, and then you can decide for yourself if Priest River is a place for you. Hi, I'm Reed Wilson with Living North Idaho Life, and we're happy to have you here. If it's your first time on the channel, go ahead, subscribe below, tap the bell so you can be informed every time we talk about anything going on up here in the North Idaho area. Like I said, today we are in the Priest River area. If you have questions on any of the areas up here, give us a call, shoot us a text. We're happy to help out, answer your questions, and try to make your move to North Idaho a smooth transition. But today, let's deep dive into the Priest River area and see what we can find out a little more about that. I've gone on to niche.com. It's a great resource nationwide if you're looking for information on schools, communities, any of that type of stuff. They have some great information that can help give you a little more insight to maybe what you're looking at. Now, this may not have been completely updated, but we're going to talk a little bit about this area. Let me kind of give you an idea about the Priest River area. In case you didn't see our Priest River video, the Priest River community, it sits about 7 miles from the Washington border. It's about an hour and 15-minute drive north of the Coeur d'Alene area. It sits, as you can see here on the little map, sits here on Highway 2, and I can move my little head out of the way there. As you can see, it has Highway 41 comes up right there, and then you got Priest River along Highway 2. So, and then you got Sandpoint sits off this area, and then Newport, we did a little Newport and Old Town sit right here in this area. So Coeur d'Alene sits south, and this heads up to Priest Lake and the Canadian border, which is about 75 miles north to the Canadian border. So it sits at about 2100 elevation, and you get about the community says, or the Priest River website says, they get about 23 inches annually of rainfall and about 72 inches on average snowfall. Now remember, that is on average, so 6 feet of snowfall on average. So on years that is above average, you're certainly going to know it. They do get a good amount of snow through there. I don't know if you've seen any of our other videos, starting about that Rathdrum area going up is kind of a snow belt. And so there will be additional snowfall in those areas versus maybe what you would see in Coeur d'Alene, or even going a little south of there into the Plummer area or something like that. So just something to keep in mind. A little over 2,100 in population as of the last year. And this area, they do, they get 4 seasons. Typically, you don't see temperatures much above 90 degrees, but they do get days like in the summer where, it will get up into the low hundreds. So just be aware of that. Probably the biggest occupation in that area is going to be more agricultural. So But we're going to talk through some of these different items here. And so going on to niche.com, they gave Priest River an overall grade of a C. So let's take a look at this area a little deeper. We're going to use niche.com. It really helps kind of give us some ideas of the areas. They do a grading system, and they gave this area an overall niche grade of a C. Now let's just walk through some of these items. The first one is going to be public schools. So they're giving the public schools a C+. Now, I think this is a little bit outdated, and the reason I'm saying that is because the school systems there right now are, so the elementary school, they're showing a B. The other elementary school, they're showing a B-, so that's not too bad. The high school, they're showing a C+. That's not, we're middle of the road. But the junior high, they're showing a C. Now, right now, there is no junior high. So they did try to pass a bond here this last year. There is a shortfall in the school system, the school district, of money of about $1.5 million, somewhere right in that ballpark. They were looking for a little over $4 million to increase to, the new kids coming in, update the schools, all this type of stuff. The bond did not pass. So there is no money coming in. So because of the shortfall, they have basically closed the junior high, and they've moved some of the kids back into the elementary school, and the other kids they've moved up into the high school. So there's still education being done, but is this ideal? Certainly not. So to me, this would really significantly downgrade both the junior high and the high school, because, well, in your elementary schools, because you've got more kids coming in, with teachers, they're not going to get the same coverage. That teacher to student ratio is going to be much higher. They don't have the money to maybe pay the teachers what they need to bring in new teachers, all this type of stuff. Now, you may be asking why aren't they passing these bonds? Why are we not able to keep the schools? Schools are important, and they are important, but you also have to remember in this area, there are a lot of older generation that have gone through school. Their kids are already gone through school. They've moved on. And with the influx of people that have come into these areas, we have seen an increase of taxes. We've seen an increase of property values, all these things. And if you're someone that's just wanting to retire in peace, and there's a good chance, especially in this area, that you could be on a fixed income, and all of a sudden they want to raise your taxes for new students that are coming in from areas that is probably frustrating you anyways. Well, most likely you're not going to vote for that type of bond. So if you're looking at moving that area and you don't have the ability to send your kids down over to Sandpoint or the Coeur d'Alene area and the STEM or private schools or something like that, then this is something you're going to want to be prepared about. Old Town, we did a video on Old Town, which is 7 miles to the west. Those kids also come over to the Priest River area for schooling. So unless you're going back over into the Sandpoint area, there are good school systems over there in that Sandpoint area, but that's a drive, and it'd be a matter of if they would even allow you to do that. So keep that in mind. The school systems are struggling there. That has been a point of contention. So, but it's one of those things. There's not enough money. Until they can figure out how to get enough money, there's going to be a shortfall in the school system. So housing, the housing there is interesting. We'll just take a quick look. Medium home value, $235,800. As I did my video, there it is a pretty affordable place to go and live. You got brand new 3-bed, 2-bath homes that are getting built in that low to mid 300,000. You do find other homes that are in that lower price range. Now these are older homes. Most of them need some work. There are some cute homes in that little area in the downtown area. So something to keep in mind. But if you're handy and can look past, you're not needing new, some of these homes might be a great option for you. I actually think this is probably a little outdated with the upswing we've had in real estate in the last few years. This medium home value is probably a little higher, would be my guess, but something to keep in mind as you're looking at that area. C+, good for families. I'm sure, it's a small town community. People are friendly there. Now, is there frustration with people that are moving in from some of these other states that are bringing in lots of money, buying stuff up? Some of that. So there is some frustration with that. There's, if you have a different license plate on your car, there are people that might have some comments for you. Everybody wants to come and enjoy, even the people living there at some point came with their families to enjoy a better quality of life. We can't blame anybody else for wanting to come there, but there is a frustration because the town's only so big. We're having infrastructure issues all over the state, and we see a lot of it here in North Idaho. And with the rise of taxes and housing, it does affect those on the fixed incomes and whatnot. So that does make things a little tougher for some of those people. But beautiful area. If you love the outdoors, boy, you can't find a better place. They got the two rivers right there with the Priest River and the Ponderay River. So if you love being out on the water, you love camping, hunting, fishing, all those things, hiking, you got a couple ski areas close by. You got, Sandpoint, Schweitzer going the other way. You have a couple there in Washington, Mount Spokane and whatnot. So there's lots of things that, if you love activities with your family, it's a great place. Jobs. If you're coming there thinking you're going to get a great job to support you and your family, that's probably not going to be the case. In fact, I went to Indeed just to see what kind of job opportunities are in that area. And so I'll kind of read off a few. Front desk, dental front desk, $18 to $22 an hour. Let's see, production worker of Stimson Lumber. So the lumber there is a big hire. A lot of people work for the lumber companies and do agriculture. It doesn't say what that pays, but if that's in your line of work, then there might be something pretty competitive there. But most of the jobs are going to be, here's cashier for grocery, a cashier customer service, $16 to $18 an hour, kennel cleaner, $12 an hour. Stock crew for grocery, housekeeping at the resort, $18 an hour. Wildland fire support, those that one's showing $24 an hour. Housekeeping, $15 to $18 an hour. You get the point. A lot of these jobs here in that area are going to be fairly low paying. It's not the type of job that typically you're going to comfortably support a family. So if you're self-employed, can work from home, or you have something else to bring to the community, or you're retired, that. But if you're coming to try to figure out how to support your family off of jobs that you think you're going to find there, that's probably not going to be the case. They're showing a B, but I really think that's overrated because there just aren't a lot of good jobs there or high-paying jobs that's going to support enough people. So cost of living, the cost of living through all of North Idaho is about the same. I think you're going to pay just a little more for groceries in that area because they got to bring them from somewhere. So it's not like, you're right off the I-90 like here in Post Falls or Coeur d'Alene where the trucks can just unload, you've got more transportation up through some of those areas. Gas is going to probably be a little bit more. So those are some things to keep in mind. Outdoor activities, like we were talking about, they've got outdoor activities. For something like that, I'd probably give it an A, because the outdoor activities, if you love spending time out in the outdoors, there's plenty of that around, and you'd find plenty to do there. Let's talk about crime and safety. That's been some things been brought up on when I did my Priest River video. As you look through the comments there is some frustration by the residents there that crime is a bit of problem. This looked, they put it as a B minus. It's a little confusing the way they did this, because they're showing calculated annually on per 100,000 residents. So nationally, 282, and they're showing in this area 110, which seems extremely high, but I'm assuming they're showing that based on per X amount of residents. So just to kind of clarify that a little more, I went to the Idaho State Police data to see what they said about it. And they said Priest River, Idaho saw a 28.36 increase in crime in 2023. So crime has been coming up, with 86 offenses reported in total. The majority of crimes were against persons, with 12 simple assaults, including 3 juvenile cases, crimes against property, including 13 larceny theft cases and 12 destruction of property. Other crimes included 7 narcotic violations, 6 drug equipment violations. I'm not quite sure what that means, but my guess is that probably there's an intent to sell or something along those lines. And the arrest rate per 100,000 population was at 6,193.7, with 110 arrests, including 5 juveniles. So this is a little deceiving, but based on the comments we're getting from locals there, they have seen an increase in crimes. They feel like some of that has come over from the Washington border. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. This only shows the offenses that were caught and tried. It doesn't include the problems where they got away with it. So that, I don't know, but for if that makes you feel better or worse, if you're living in town, sounds like you could have some issues. Those that are buying some acreage outside of town probably aren't going to really feel the effects of some of that, depending on where you're at. So just something to keep a thought of. So they've put it as a B minus. I'll let you decide if it should be downgraded more than that, based on what we talked about. So here we also want to look at a B plus for Nightlife. So I've never spent any time up there, participating in their nightlife. I know there's quite a few restaurants and bars and that type of thing. I'm sure it has that small town fun feel. So my guess is people that come and visit probably enjoy some of that. And if you live there, it looks like you've got plenty of places. If you're wanting to get out and go and have a drink and some dinner, and I don't know what the dancing's like up there and some of these other things, but if you're going to the movies and some of these other things, you're probably headed into Newport or over into Sandpoint or some of that type of stuff. So diversity, let's look down through here. We're going to look at some of the diversity. They're giving it a B. They have some of the different age groups here. Kind of 65 and older makes up the 23% of that area. The website shows that the most people there are of a conservative nature. So the weather we talked a little bit about, they do have 4 seasons there, and it's a lot like you would probably find in a lot of these other areas, North Idaho. Now they're going to get some snow. And we chatted about that a little bit. They get some good snowfall, so if you don't like being cold in the winter, you don't like shoveling your driveway, and if you live out on some acreage and you don't want to invest in a plow, that just very well may not be the place for you. So it's something to keep in mind. And then summers are beautiful there, but your late falls, early spring is going to be a lot of rain. You don't get a ton of sunshine in those times of the month. It does feel a little gloomy and wet and cold. So that's something to keep in mind. That's probably why we get a lot of the snowbirds that come up or leave, whichever. I guess it's the summer birds. It would be people come for the summer and then head back to the warmer climates during the winter. So, but weather is one of those things. If you're going to stick around year long, then my suggestion would be to find fun things that you like to do in the winter, like skiing, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, or ice fishing, or whatever that might look like. Something to kind of give you something to do. So health and fitness, I don't have a lot on that. They gave it a B-. So, but probably just because it sits in a healthy area. There's not a lot of pollution there. There's not a lot of people there. So just something to keep in mind. It's a nice little community. The Commute, like we were talking about with jobs, you are not going to probably feed your family on a job you're going to find there. There might be a couple jobs somewhere, but the majority of the jobs are going to be, like what we talked about, that may supplement a second income or something like that. So if you're, doing something else that creates a income that you feel is more suitable for you, you're most likely, if you're not able to work from home, you're probably commuting. You're either commuting down into the Spokane area, over to the Sandpoint area, or maybe even down into the Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene area. So keep that in mind. There is a drive there, and in the winter, that's not always fun. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you're moving to the Priest River area, if it's on your radar, we want to make sure you have a little deeper understanding of some of the pros and cons of that area, and see if it's something that fits with you. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out. Happy to chat with you about some of these different areas. Feel free to leave a comment. Locals, I get a lot of these locals that help me out, and we like all of your comments, even the haters. So feel free to post and or comment on anything that I may have missed. And you live there. I know there's some frustrations with some different things, and so, but if we can help out with your move and your questions, give us a call, shoot us a text. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope this was helpful. Thank you.